Parents of Reddit, what are your kids currently attempting to hide from you? My 6-year-old got out of bed early on Sunday morning to sneak downstairs and steal Monopoly money from the bank in the unfinished game from the night before, which was left out on the table. Edit. When he becomes a teenager and starts acting like his generation invented the internet and everything and that old people are stupid, I'll show him this thread. Politician in the making. Nah. Politician doesn't steal it from the bank. The bank gives it to him. My kid would get up in the middle of the night and want a snack. He would sneak into the kitchen and eat a whole tomato except the little circle where it connected to the stem. He hid the little stem circles under whatever was on top of the trash and would go to sleep. We always made sure there were tomatoes for him. I did that with pickles. I'd sneak in the kitchen and just eat my weight in pickles. The Pez dispensers in his nightstand. He eats them in secret pretty sparingly, so I let it go. He's 6. Edit. He never eats them at bedtime and has a pretty strict teeth brushing schedule, so I'm not overly concerned about cavities. A 6-year-old with self-control and willpower is pretty impressive. My kid is 5. She sneaks food under her blanket, wrapped snacks, for later, and is always amazed when I find them. Edit. Thanks for the concern, guys. But as it's happened 3 times in a 12-month span, I'm certain that she does not have an eating disorder. She is also not overweight. Kids will be kids. My 22-year-old son starts work at 6 AM. He left the house at 6:30 and came back 30 minutes later. I think he got fired. Update. He went to work today. I asked him if he went to work yesterday and he said everything was locked up and they had changed the unloading schedule that day and didn't tell him. My daughter, who's 9, thinks she's being crafty hiding a book under her pillow to read after bedtime. I've known for about a year and let her have half an hour secret reading time after she goes to bed. Bit harder to know if she's not reading after half an hour now it's summer and she doesn't need to use a lamp. But I can tell if she's turned her lamp off in winter. Edit. My most upvotes ever in the silver. Thank you, D. That's the kind of kid I want to have. They can hide reading books for as long as they want to. Edit. So this is my big karma comment. I have to say I love the fact that it is such a positive one. On a negative note, anyone else that mentions Mein Kampf or something similar is getting downvoted. First time is clever, well, sort of. 10th time is boring and unimaginative. And shows you are a bit lazy for not reading others' replies. Himself. It's nearly bedtime. 2-year-old thinks I'll forget to put him to bed if he runs into another room for 30 seconds. If he was a bit older I'd say he was playing Skyrim and thought the stealth system in that game is realistic. When my son was 5 he stashed a bunch of blueberries under his pillow for later. Problem is, not only did they get squished night 1, but he forgot about them until we changed his sheets a few days later. Death. We had a foster kid that hid about 2 handfuls of spaghetti with sauce under his pillow. Found it the next day while he was at school. Got it cleaned up. Never told him we found it. Made sure to have spaghetti twice a week thereafter. He has a crush on the babysitter and tries to draw hearts to give to her. He also proposed. He is 6. We went on a trip this summer that involved a plane ride. My son looked at me and said, "Mom, do you think the waitress, flight attendant, is pretty?" I said yes, she is pretty. "Why do you think she is pretty?" He giggled and said, "Yes, I think she is pretty." Don't tell though. He's 6. Kid's warming up his game early and double checking his standards. Everybody's kids here are hiding books to read secretly. Mine's hiding in his bedroom trying to use a glue stick like lip balm. Keep an eye on that. The regular weirdos ate crayons and turned out okay. The kids eating paste were the delinquents. Hey, I ate the paste as a kid and I brain just fine. Our son, 9, is taking his marbles to school and screwing other kids out of their marbles. He's got a real hustle going on there. He's not allowed to take any toys to school. Hence why he's hiding it. I checked his school backpack and found probably a kilogram worth of marbles in there. We are having a talk this afternoon. My 6-year-old is gobsmacked that I know about the rolling around on the floor instead of schoolwork. No idea the teacher can reach me anytime. Edit. Holy shamily, I didn't expect that. My daughter throws her lettuce under the table for the dog to eat. The dog doesn't like lettuce. Your kitchen floor might need some cleaning at this point in time. My 4-year-old son is currently trying to hide that he pees his bed. His dad questioned him the other morning asking if he did and he said no. Even though we were holding his wet pants. When we asked whose pants they were he said mommy's. We asked again if he peed his bed and he said no, mommy did it. Little bastard. Edit. Before I blow my brains out, the reason we asked is because he lies about everything. We are teaching him it is not okay to lie about things and he doesn't need to lie about it. He and his dad both suffered from excessive bedwetting as a kid, so we know it is hard embarrassing, not his fault. He's not always peeing in his sleep. A lot of the time he's doing it after he's already been awake. He's a kid. These things happen. Please stop trying to give advice on a fraction of a story of someone's life you know nothing about, thanks. This was supposed to be just a fun snippet of a story that we still laugh about. Especially with our son. Well mommy, why are you pissing on his bed? Well, I think my husband would be upset if I peed in our bed. But no one will suspect the boy. Plus, he is a defiant little it. My 4-year-old son just asked me how many coins I had on my desk. I said I didn't know. He said he counted 6. My almost 2-year-old has started telling me crazy stories as if they are real. He recently told me that our dog rides a motorcycle to go play with her friends. Fortunately my teenager, 16, going on 17, doesn't try to hide much from me. She's a terrible liar and gets busted right away every time. So she just casually admits stuff these days. It's pretty great. However, she's been sneaking her boyfriend over to the house during the day while I'm at work and thinks I'm clueless. Girl, I know you eat a lot, but there's no way you're going through half a loaf of bread by yourself in one day. You also left his glass of water on the coffee table. IDK man. I feel like I could eat half a loaf of bread by myself. Honestly. Half a loaf of bread gone and more than one water glass left out. She could be a stoner. Girlfriend's kids, 20 and 17, like to go work on the car together in the detached garage. Late at night. Yeah. Pretty sure they're smoking weed up. She likes to make them awkward by asking what they're up to. We see the 3-foot bong, you guys. That first half had me worried as hell. I'm glad it's just weed. To all the teenagers on here, your parents know more than you think and are also more ignorant than you think. The trick is, you won't know in which areas until they tell you. Usually years later. I dropped some classes a few years ago and would still pretend to go. Just sort of hanging around town to keep my parents thinking I was enrolled. On one skip day, I was window shopping in my hometown when I see my dad walking towards me from down the street. I thought the jig was up, so I kept walking towards him. And he passes me by before I can even say anything. Deadass just doesn't notice me even though I'm within arm's length. I thought he wanted to pretend it didn't happen or something. But when I told him I saw him on the street later that night, he asked why I didn't say hello. Got a 12-year-old and I definitely know his Reddit account cause the little turd used my email to sign up. Must not have thought that one through. I'm too scared to look at it though. My 2.5-year-old daughter hides every time she poops. She starts by asking, am I wearing a diaper? Then she loudly announces that she's going to hide over there if I ask her if she's pooping. She screams at me, don't say those words. I'm just hiding. Edit. Holy RIP inbox and OMFG, I've been gilded. I'm glad my child's hilarity and secrecy of pooping could move you so much. Edit 2. Holy crap everyone. Silver. 2. This is the most internet I've ever won. Thanks for all of the potty training advice. Trust me. We're trying over here. And all of the reasons you don't want kids and all of the reasons you love your kids. My kid is the funniest person on this planet. She makes me laugh every day. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Even if she sheets her britches forever. And hides every time. My kid Noah, 15, is trying to hide the fact that he's found a girlfriend. He thinks he's really smart by just saying he's going out to get food every now and then. But it's so easy to tell that he's going to see someone. Also, his girlfriend snitched on him. She told us that she liked him. My 16-year-old had a box of condoms with a price sticker from the dollar store in his backpack. He left it on my passenger seat and they fell out while I was shifting it to the back seat. I went and bought him a better brand and replaced them. We have never discussed it. Edit. Thank you all so much for the great feedback. Parenting is no easy task, lol. To clarify, we have discussed sex. I only meant that we've never discussed the actual switching of the condom boxes. I had my 17-year-old cousin move in with me for a bit after her parents separated. Things were icy at home and she got cheap rent and board as long as she watched my kids a few times a month so I and my wife could have a date night. One of the first things I did was buy some condoms and put them in a drawer in the bathroom that was across the hall from her room. I told her that I will be happy to keep the drawer stocked up if it runs low. And I would not be angry if I have to buy them, but I'll be really pissed if I find she is having sex and not using them. Joke's on me anyway. 2 weeks later I met her girlfriend. That they are not tired. Despite the usual crying and making you feel terrible until they shut their eyes and 30 seconds later asleep. Parenting's a ducking whirlwind of emotions. Mine doesn't try to hide anything. He's a year and a half old. He just grabs things he isn't supposed to and runs away yelling. Run 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 run. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Whoever gifted it. And especially thank you to everyone sharing their own toddler stories. I'll be smiling all day thanks to these replies.